Supreme Rice. Since the 1930s, supporting Louisiana farmers and communities throughout Louisiana. To find out more, go to supremerice.com. Live at lunch.
You are looking live.
Live at lunch. Live at lunch with Ott and Hanny on 104.5 ESPN, Baton Rouge.
What the hell's going on out here?
Now, here's Jimmy Ott and Charles Hannegriff.
Yeah, for some reason or another, you sound a little taller on radio.
Is it live? Is it live? Is it live? Is it live? Is it live?
From Big Mike's Sports Bar and Grill here in Denham Springs, welcome to the Monday edition of Live at Lunch, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. Charles Hannegriff, Jimmy Ott, Jordan Kitchen's back in the studio on our normal Monday.
George's been working a lot,
season.
man. He was on Football Sunday yesterday. He's working extra hours. Got to get up early on Tuesday. Monday and Friday.
Pre and post game, or some of that working.
Well, he's up late with you.
He wasn't this week, but he has been before. But he was in week 2. So hey, guy works a lot, man. Works a lot. That's what happens during football
it's
season.
as if he went to the old grassroots Holy Cross instead of the bougie on the Bayou Holy Cross.
We're glad you're with us here. Our normal Monday during football season schedule includes the Brian Kelly press conference about 11:40. We'll hand it over to them, see what BK's got to say, as it was a huge college football and pro football weekend. One of the yesterday in the NFL, I know we say this every week, was, my goodness, some of the things that historic, both good and bad. We'll get to that in a second. Ton of college football to get to as well. And, of course, LSU with an easy win over Southeastern. And when we started post-game, basically what I said was, what did I take away from this game? I took away that Garrett Nussmeier is healthy. And that is of all the things that happened this weekend, of all the things I watched, what's the most significant thing that I saw to our audience here is that Garrett Nussmeier is healthy. Early in the week, last Monday, Brian Kelly said, look, he's got a torso injury. Well, what does that mean? Well, it means that he's had some discomfort. We've had to hold him a little bit. But why would you say that if it's going to tip off your opponents that you can't throw the ball down the field or your quarterback somewhere compromised? Well, later in the week, and then also, why wouldn't you sit him in a game against Southeastern where you're a massive favorite no matter whether he plays or not? Why would you not just sit him in that game? And Kelly explained himself later in the week during his media availability to coaches' show, said, look, we think that he's had the best week of practice that he's had since August. We feel like he is on the backside of this injury. We feel like he is ready to move forward, and we think he needs to play to get into a rhythm. Okay, so going into the game, is that a risk? Well, can he hurt it worse? Can he take a step backwards? Certainly could have. How's he going to look? Because we're going to scrutinize every throw now. Well, every throw that he made the other night looked like the old Nussmeier. Looked like something that had a little zip on the fastball. His accuracy was there. He was 25 of 31, and the 6 balls that were incomplete, he had a couple of drops. Nothing was really wild or short or anything like that. They threw the ball deep, and his longest throw from scrimmage, I think, was right at 50 air yards. Did not look like he had to heave it. He even ran a little bit on Saturday night. He had his longest run of his career at 26 yards. They felt comfortable enough putting him into a quarterback sneak from under center. In fact, they did it twice. So with all of that, and even though I thought it was an unnecessary risk to put him out there for the first series of the second half when they were up 35-0, and he got popped on that drive and got up limping a little bit, and it's like, man, okay, that's enough. But even with that, their confidence in his ability to run the offense, to make the throws, to not re-injure anything was there, and he paid that off. So moving forward, you got Garrett Nussmeier ready to go. That was my biggest takeaway. After that, there's a lot of little things. I thought Michael Van Buren acquitted himself really well in the backup role. I thought he did some nice things, had some nice throws. He scored a touchdown on the ground. Exactly what you want to see him do. Came in and ran the offense. They didn't just shut it down. He played the entire second half, save for one drive. And LSU, after not scored on their first drive, scored on the next 8, and win the game 56-10. Same issues that LSU has had before continue to be of concern. The rushing game, the offensive line. But at least for now, those take a backseat to get ready for Ole Miss. That Nussmeier's healthy, Jimmy, and that was the biggest thing I took out of the game.
Get to see a little bit of the backup, so there's a lot of I think he's got a little bit more ability than maybe some people were fearing, when the rumors going that the season is lost.
You talking about Van Buren?
Yeah. I mean, he's not a stiff.
No.
He's. I mean, you can do worse. I mean, if Nussmeier went down for a couple of games, he would give you a chance.
We gave these numbers yet last week. Last year, he started a game for Mississippi State. He threw for 306 yards in Athens in a competitive game. They lost that game by 10. Okay, they weren't blown out. It wasn't all garbage yards. He threw for 242 and 3 touchdowns and an interception in a 10-point loss to Texas A&M. That was not a complete blowout. He threw for 280 against Ole Miss in the Egg Bowl. Now, he did throw 2 interceptions in that game, but he threw for 280 in that game. And he threw for 309 yards against Arkansas. Now, they lost that game big, but they put 25 points on the board. He threw for 309. It's not like he was just going in there and handing the ball off and going 11 for 24 every week. Yeah. There were some good games in there.
Yeah, Nussmeier's health. I mean, besides that, I'm not ever going to put too much into Rena wins.
Right.
I mean, I think LSU's blowing an opportunity, like I said on Football Sunday. I mean, get your alumni by choice. Go out and find a guy and say, hey, man, this oil guy from California or Texas, look, man, you want to be an LSU fan? You could be the interim coach for our Rena wins. So $5 million. There you go. Go straight to our player budget. I mean, Michigan's doing it.
They did.
Michigan. Michigan had to pay. Did they pay Underwood? How much?
$12 million.
Okay, well, you could come be an assistant on our staff, but bring your cheese too. Biff,
right?
Biff blew it right before half. Got a time out with about 9-10 seconds to go. You let it run down to 1. Oh, then they get a Hail Mary. You force them to punt. No, they would get it. But anyway,
I'm going to like Biff because he gave Nick Saban the business on game day. So
no.
I
can sit right here, Big Mike's, and have a couple beers with Biff any day.
Yeah.
Oh no, he's
funny guy.
He's got the delivery. You can see why he's successful, man. In an unassuming way, just sharp as a tack. And he was giving Saban. That was classic. Yeah, Biff, you remember when you coached at St. Francis High School and you used to pay all the players? I learned from you.
Right. No, it's priceless.
and Saban didn't get defensive. He just laughed.
Right.
So, Nussmeier. Is the ball coming out his hand?
Yes.
Moving okay?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. So, against anybody, we can see that. So, it's time, man. Come on, man. You waited too long. Is it an injury or not? Because as transparent, as forthcoming, as honest as Brian Kelly has been, to a fault, that's just conflicting information he put out last week.
Mm-hmm.
You can't say, well, he's not going to get better till a bye week, but he's got to play. Well, damn it. You can't have both, bro.
Yeah.
You can't have both. And, rest him if you – but we're in the torso, and here's the injury, and boom, and everybody's running with it. He's playing hurt. This is why. You would not have known any type of injury. He was up from any injury. How much can we attribute to his choppiness before this game due to injury? Who knows? The decision-making got nothing to do with the injury. Maybe it can settle, kind of some frustration can seep in because you can't do exactly what you want to do, what you normally can do. Maybe, but Kelly jumped us behind real good, after that decision against Florida. No, you got to be better than that.
Yeah.
You
that wasn't the injury.
You have to be better than that. And Nussmeier knows that. So I don't know about all that, but maybe, and that's it. I am not taking anything away from beating up on a tomato can like that. And that's it. But no matter if he's just at practice, with some practices he doesn't even throw. So he had to be hurt. There's no reason a quarterback doesn't throw at practice. You need reps. You want all the reps you can get throwing the ball. It's like, a basketball player. No, he's not going to shoot in practice. Well, what the hell's wrong? So besides that, that's all. So, you got a big one in Oxford. And I can't see that that I mean, who thinks they're not going to start Chambliss in this game? When you talk about you never can lose your job to injury. Well, another guy can win the job. I mean, if he outperforms you.
Yeah.
And so it's going to be a lot of fun because LSU's strength of their team is their defense. Ole Miss's strength. This is forget last year. This is Ole Miss and Kiffin, how they've been for most of the time. They are explosive on offense and they are leaky on defense. They had a good game on Saturday defensively. I thought that was mostly Retzlaff struggling. 0 yards passing in the first half.
Yikes.
Yeah.
One more thing on the Nussmeier injury, and we'll put it behind us. I thought Jordan Rogers on the broadcast had a plausible explanation for this, and he gets it from Brian Kelly in the production meeting, which is he had some issues before the Clemson game, but he re-aggravated this thing in the Clemson game. It was worse afterwards than it was before. Well, that checks out. And now that the injury seems to be mostly behind him, that checks out with what Brian Kelly said last Monday. Again, he didn't have to disclose this. Okay.
He said he said it looks like he's behind him, and it does. How's it check out what he said Monday? He said he couldn't get better till the off week.
And that was obviously either a misspeak or it was contradictory. Okay, more what he said on Thursday, which is we think that the injury is behind us. He's had a good week of practice. He's doing some other things.
Okay.
But the Monday thing, he didn't have to say anything. The question was
covering up for his player.
The question was fairly benign. It was about Nussmeier's mechanics. He could have said, "We're working on it. Garrett comes to practice and works hard every day. He's mechanically sound. We'll get through." He could have sidestepped it, and he chose not to. He got out.
Went out of his way.
Yes,
he was forthcoming. He was not asked about an injury. He
was
gave
not.
up the information on the injury.
Yes,
and then Thursday, the injury is completely healed.
Okay,
all right.
He does,
okay.
Yeah, so he doesn't do that on Thursday unless he's got to be really sure. Otherwise, he looks stupid. Because if he says Nussmeier's completely healthy on Thursday, on Saturday he goes out and he can't throw the ball 25 yards, then okay, it's like, hey, hang on a second, you're not being truthful here, and he was. So I think we can put that behind us. I watched all of Ole Miss and Tulane. I thought this would be a close game. It was not. Ole Miss completely dominated the game. I'm with you on Trinidad Chambliss. He threw for 307. He ran for 112, and he looked in complete command of that offense against what is not a bad Tulane defensive team. I think we're in agreement on he has a lot more touch than Simmons does. Let's call them as runners, maybe a wash, maybe even Simmons is a little bit better, but Chambliss is plenty good enough as a runner. I think he's a little bit better, but it's close. Okay. I think he's a much better passer.
Better than Simmons as a runner?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's close.
Well, when Simmons got a bum ankle.
Yeah. He may not have the velocity on his throws that Simmons does. Simmons may have a better arm, but Chambliss is the better passer. We saw some passes that he threw on Saturday, some of the touch passes that were just absolutely beautifully placed. And to this point, we haven't seen Austin Simmons really do that. Everything is on a line. He reminds me a great deal of former LSU quarterback Brandon Harris. Harris had a very big arm, but he did not have a lot of touch. Everything came out hot. And that's how Simmons plays, and it's cost him. He threw 4 interceptions in the first 5 quarters of this season, and Chambliss hasn't thrown an interception yet. I'm with you. I can't imagine that they would not start him. But the narrative is, and you talked about it yesterday on game day, it's like, well, if Ole Miss can just get their starter back, no, this guy's better. This guy, if they want to put Austin Simmons in place of Trinidad Chambliss this week, not only will I endorse that, I'll absolutely go right ahead. I wouldn't expect that though.
I was betting Tulane if Simmons was starting. I wasn't if Chambliss was starting.
And
I mean, I've seen them, both kind of come up. It's not so much the interceptions, and that's part of it. You can't take that away, but it's just the touch he throws with the ball, hitting guys in stride, the accuracy hitting guys in stride, yards after the catch, kind of hitting. Kiffin likes to catch guys. The underneath stuff is cutting up the field. And it you just watch. It's just so much choppier with with Simmons in the game. It flows more. It's not as extreme because those two guys, Nico and Milton, those guys are terrible throwers. Okay, great big arms, all right, but they just can't throw. And Nico, Aguilar comes in there, and man, it's like the offense just can breathe again. It's that same type of effect. So choppy. We think of Kiffin, great play designer, sequencing, got away with the tempo because he realized in this league, I can't be playing with my second string defensive front, the second half of the season. So, all of them guys, whether it's Malzahn, Heupel, Kiffin, they kind of alter that let's get 100 snaps a game type of BS. But he's just better, man. The offense is just check out yards per play with those two guys. That's one. And Charlie, because I knew he was going to have a big game against Tulane, I differ from you a little bit. I don't think Tulane's defense is very good. For American Conference standards,
yeah.
Okay, but no, this was a mismatch, and he wasn't perfect by he missed some throws, he missed some. They had some drops, and then he missed some too. So, because if they were hitting on all cylinders, they would have really, and then they wore him down with 22 fourth quarter points. But it was just Tulane put a lot of emphasis on that Darian Mensah homecoming.
Yeah.
And they were not ready to play on Saturday.
And I thought this would be a sandwich spot for Ole Miss. After that very exhausting Arkansas game with LSU on the horizon, I thought that this would be a sleeper spot. I was wrong on that. One other thing about Chambliss. He played a lot of football before he got to Ole Miss. Now, he didn't play it at the D1 level, but he played 3 years at Ferris State. Okay, who cares about Ferris State? Well, it's still football, and they played at a championship level. They won the National Division II championship, and he started 16 games, played in 25 in his 3 years there. He's played a decent amount of football. Now, can you make the jump every time? No, but this kid looks like he's in command. He didn't look rattled at any point. Even when he came in the Kentucky game, which was late, that game was hanging in the balance. I didn't think he looked rattled there. He looks like somebody who's very sure of himself, running the offense.
It's the right recipe. I mean, I bet Ferris State could have competed with New Mexico State. That New Mexico State was bad, bro.
Yeah.
That was okay. How's that guy doing?
Ferris State is not FCS. They're Division II.
I heard you.
Okay.
I'm well aware.
Okay.
Do you know how bad New Mexico State was?
They're bad.
They were like 0-23 before Jerry Kill got there.
Right. No, they were bad.
I saw that guy, and I had my doubts. Well, I mean, that's New Mexico State's BS league. Okay, he's come. No, I mean, Incarnate Word scores a lot of points, but I mean, they're no juggernaut. That guy's the number one pick.
Yeah.
Went to Washington State. So, no, that's the right recipe. You think you're going to develop more as a quarterback playing at a lower level or sitting? He's playing at a lower level.
There's no question.
It's kind of, that minor league thing? They do that for a reason.
They do.
Yeah.
Even the
that's
best,
a lower level, right?
Even the best prospects.
Is that a lower level?
Didn't they send Skeens down? His first start was at single A.
Yeah.
He was there for 5 minutes, but he was single A. Oh, we're here at Big Mike Sports Bar and Grill on Aspen Square in Denham Springs. We've been coming here a long time, and Big Mike, we tell you all the time, is so involved in the local community here. And this past week, they inducted him, Michael O'Neill, into the Denham Springs Hall of Fame. Yeah, I can't tell you how many fundraisers he has done over the years to help out the local schools and the local kids. You need something sponsored, Mike's there. You want to have an event for the kids, Mike's there. You need food, Mike's there. And just over and over again, reinvesting in this community I know he believes in very deeply. They put him in the Hall of Fame this past week, which was great. Of course, it's right here. So Denham Springs, it reminds me a little bit of the community I grew up in. They rally around the local high school, the local stuff. And I can tell you that having people like that is not, it's necessary, it's invaluable, and they donate their time, they donate their money because they believe in it, and they believe in reinvesting in the community. And Mike has done that to the nth degree. And so congratulations. They put him in the Hall of Fame and recognized him last week, and we're happy about that. He's always been real good to us, and it's a staple here in Denham Springs. If you watched the bar rescue episode, okay, and you don't have to watch bar rescue to know that this guy comes in and he rescues failing bars. And every episode, I've watched a number of them, every episode that he's ever done, he comes in and he yells at the staff for not doing their jobs. He yells at the owner for drinking too much. He yells at the people for not cleaning everything. This is the only episode he ever did where everybody was doing everything right, but they ran into a historic flood. And so he came in here and helped them get back on their feet. And you saw what a big part of the community here Big Mike's is. And it was a really touching episode. If you haven't seen it, it's on YouTube. But it's a real part of what Big Mike's is here in the Denham Springs community.
I did play-by-play for Denham Springs back in the 90s, me and a Rooster. And, Mike was a supporter of what we did. And so, he's been doing it for a long, long time. And so, so used to, stop by the place at the old location on the way home from the games and just, talk about the game and stuff like that. So, no, man, he's big supporter, well-deserved.
And they're open late after high school football games on Friday nights, so you come in. It's family-friendly on Friday nights. After the game, you can bring the kids in, get something to eat on your way home. Great happy hour here, Monday through Friday from 3 until 7 with $2.50 beer, domestic and bottles and draft, $4 wells and $5 wine. That's all Monday through Friday and all day on Sunday starting at 11 o'clock. And you need an extra cocktail if you're going to watch the Saints on Sunday because it's not pretty. Live at lunch from Big Mike's.
Live at lunch with Ott and Hanny from Big Mike's Sports Bar and Grill in Denham Springs on 104.5 ESPN, Baton Rouge.
Remember, you can always get the show on demand, 1045ESPN.com, LouisianaSports.net. That is brought to you by Supreme Rice, supporting our local Louisiana farmers since the 1930s. Go to SupremeRice.com. Tomorrow night, the SEC will announce everybody's annual opponents, but the news has broken. Chris Lowe from On 3 and others now picking up on that report, including the Advocate, that LSU's 3 permanent opponents will be Texas A&M, Ole Miss, and Arkansas. So had that a few weeks ago. I thought at the time, I said, if my information is correct, this is a gift. This is an absolute gift for LSU to get these 3 opponents.
Well, who's everybody else's?
Who do you want to know?
All right, Alabama's got Tennessee, Auburn, and they're going to throw them.
Somebody close.
Mississippi State.
Mississippi State. That's right.
There you go. We can't play. We want to play Auburn. We want to play Tennessee, but we don't want to play Alabama too. So give us,
You have to get another. Yeah, Auburn gets Alabama and Georgia. We'll have to protect that.
Alabama, Georgia, and Kentucky.
You close. Vandy. Yeah. Florida draws Georgia, South Carolina, and Kentucky.
I'm trying to guess.
I'm sorry. Who else you want to guess?
Well, let me just go through them and I'll tell you.
Texas,
Oklahoma. Mm-hmm. Texas A&M.
Yes.
Kentucky?
No.
Arkansas?
Arkansas.
Okay. So all Southwest Conference.
Yeah.
Okay.
Tennessee,
Alabama.
Yes.
Well, are they keeping Georgia?
They are not.
Florida.
They are not. Huh. Tennessee got a love letter. Vandy.
So Vandy, Alabama, and Kentucky?
And Kentucky. That's a love letter. I mean, look, I'm not complaining at all what LSU got. That's a love letter.
I mean, you drop Georgia and Florida, who you've played for
ever. That's a love letter. That is a love letter. Ole Miss.
Diego Vanderbilt's not going to play forever there.
No, he's not.
Ole Miss.
He's eligible forever. He's just not going to play forever.
Ole Miss, Mississippi State.
Egg Bowl. And you know they're going to play
LSU. And
this one's a little bit out there. It's kind of random.
Not Kentucky? Who? I don't know.
Oklahoma.
Okay.
State, L.S.U. and Oklahoma. The Deuce
McAllister Independence Bowl.
That's rugged.
Nobody can live without reliving that.
So Oklahoma gets Texas and Ole Miss, and then the third one.
Oklahoma gets Texas
and Ole Miss.
Wait. Oklahoma, Texas, Ole Miss, Missouri.
Very good. Very good. Who else we're leaving out? Georgia.
Auburn.
Auburn.
Well, no Florida.
Got to have
no
Florida.
Tennessee. Oh, no,
Not Tennessee.
No, Georgia, Florida, and Auburn.
Florida and Auburn.
And then they got to give them a weekie. Missouri? No, that's already
closer.
South Carolina.
South Carolina. Arkansas drew LSU and Texas. Yikes. And then Arkansas gets LSU and Texas.
Arkansas gets LSU, Texas, and A&M. Huh?
Not A&M. That one, the Jerry World game is, although they were moving that back to campus anyway.
They got rid of Missouri?
No, Missouri stays.
Okay.
Missouri stays. LSU, Texas, and Missouri. Who else?
That's why I thought Arkansas was going to be not LSU. I thought it was going to be Missouri, A&M, and Texas.
Yeah. And then Texas A&M, who pulls Texas and LSU that we already revealed that. The third one is?
I don't know.
Also Missouri.
Okay.
I guess they couldn't fit Texas A&M and Arkansas in here and keep it fair. We got a lot of stuff to talk about with that, but that's what I predicted, and that is a gift. You will now hear me stop complaining about scheduling for the most part. This is fair.
That's not fair.
It's not fair.
That's not fair. That's not even close to fair.
It's not fair.
No, that's not fair. That's making up for lost time.
Yes, this is
you feel like payback.
Yes,
you thought you would have owed it. Okay,
yes.
that's fair.
This is settling up the
fair with yourself before you can become
imbalance.
a good handicapper.
I told you this is a gift. This is a gift.
Yes, Philadelphia was not a good handicap yesterday. That was luck.
Yeah.
Don't forget our friends at Legacy Title. Chad Reynolds, the Legacy Title for all of your real estate closings. 296-0060, full-service title company servicing all of South Louisiana. Fast, friendly, professional services would you get when you call 296-0060. Ashley Donald, Mariana Haynes, Adrian Galata, Michael Platt, Natalie and Bradford Smith, our long-standing staff. Buying, building, refinancing. Nobody choose but you. Choose Chad Reynolds in Legacy Title.
Live at Big Mike's Live at
Jimmy, Charlie, and Troy. Three best buddies sitting around talking sports bets. Let's welcome in Troy Macker from Bet Rivers.
Troy, how you doing, buddy?
I'm doing good. I had an interesting weekend. Had to head out of town for an emergency, so didn't get a chance to watch a lot of the college football, but was back hunkered down in front of my couch for Sunday NFL, which was, for the witching hour, just manic. One of the best witching hours we've had in a long time. So a lot of results changed in 15 minutes and really impacted whether or not the book or the public won.
So Charlie and I are watching the game at the sports book after we finished football Sunday yesterday, and the new policy where these kickers can kind of handpick their ball instead of taking them fresh out the case or whatever, and we can massage them and work them in. It's like taking that glove when you play Little League, kind of breaking it in, and it just. They love it. And, 60-yard field goals are like extra points, it seems like. Bam, bam, here's another one, here's another one, here's another. It's crazy. And then all of a sudden, it's the block field goal in the witching hour. What Troy is referencing is that 2:30 to 3:15, 45 minutes where it is a lot of money is changing hands. Let's say. Of course, the biggest one is the Rams, the right side. Yep. They should have won the game, much less, losing the spread. And then, of course, the big boy from Florida. Not only does he block it, he could not have. I don't care if the best skill position player. Puka Nacua couldn't have scooped it up any more cleaner. A.J. Brown or Devontae Smith couldn't have scooped it up any cleaner. And then he's trucking like he's a tight end. Those
big guys get their eyes on the end zone. It's like, I'm going to get to score.
Yeah. Hey, don't bother telling him to take a knee.
Right.
Yeah, no. And it was just, I was like, oh my God. And as he's scooping, I'm like, they're going to cover. I couldn't believe it. The Tampa Bay, that line is 6.5, 7. They're up 6. They line up for a field goal. About a minute to go, roughly, Charlie.
Yeah.
And they're going to
a little under two.
Yeah, so they're going to be covering the spread, and you would have to, Tyrod Taylor would have to backdoor it if he could, but that's blocked. Scoop, score. The last one I remember, Troy, was a Monday night game. It was 25 years ago. Pittsburgh was about a 5.5, 6-point favorite. They're winning by 1 or 2. Jacksonville, not one of their better teams, lining up for a game-winning field goal. Last play of the game. Block, scoop, and score for the cover. So that's the last one I can remember. Were you on the right side of that one, Troy?
No, that was a no play for me. So I was lucky to just kind of think about what the book and the public's feeling. I will say is the guy who blocked the field goal. I mean, who was it? Carter. There was a time where he was the consensus number 1 overall pick, and the only reason he didn't go number 1 is because of off the field issues. So that speed's probably a reason he was reckoned to go number 1.
Him and Jalen Carter are some. Those guys have played together, believe it or not. I mean, they were something over at Georgia. There is no doubt about that. So it was interesting. What was the biggest win for the book, and what was the big? Probably had to be Cleveland upsetting Green Bay, knocking out all kinds of money line parlays and teasers, huh?
Yeah, by a good margin. That was the biggest win for the book. Here's another surprising one was. Actually, the biggest loss for the book, which is the surprising one, was the Bears-Cowboys game. And as we've talked many a times, Bet Rivers is very big in the state of Illinois, so Bears games, we just get, they are backed heavily, regardless of who they're playing. But we also talk about how Dallas Cowboys are America's team, and that relates to the betting lines. And it was basically a pick'em, and there was heavy action on the Cowboys. So the public actually lost on that. In a game I was expecting to load it and see that the Bears were backed heavily, and they weren't. But it was that Packers game. We were on overs. The public was on overs. They were on Packers to win, Packers to cover. Alt lines. That was a bad loss for the public.
Yeah, we were doing the show yesterday. I looked at it, and some other outlets had Dallas was the most popular play, and I mean the most public team was the most public bet yesterday.
I'd have a real problem with the way they managed that game. And, of course, defensively they were terrible. They were averaging over 6 yards a carry. You know how hard that is to do in the NFL? And it's not because somebody busted an 80-yarder. And yet they threw the ball 45 times and ran it 20. And, I mean, the old guard, Javonte Williams and Miles Sanders, are running through Chicago. And yet they kept putting the ball in the air, and Dak threw a couple interceptions. Dallas could have done way better yesterday, in my opinion.
They're not good. They're not. I mean, that defense is going to put them. They were lucky to win the Giants game, period, and they should be 0-3. And now they could have beaten Philadelphia, so maybe those even each other.
And
out.
The Bears are no
but
great shakes.
You can't be that bad on defense. And
they've got issues all over the defense.
It's not much short sample with 3 games. Okay, look at the Giants play last night. That was painful. They weren't even trying to hurry up, to try and get a touchdown and get an opportunity. They had almost conceded. They were letting the clock run because that's the offense that went up and down the field against Dallas the week before.
Yeah, all the more reason to run the football more. You're averaging 6 yards a carry. All the more reason to run the ball more.
Try and help your
take them off the field as much as you can.
Complimentary football, there's no doubt. So what about in college, Troy? I know you're out the loop, but who were the biggest wins for the book, and who were the biggest wins for the public?
Yeah, well, for the public, I think it's pretty clear. Miami -7, Miami to win against Florida. I talked on the podcast I do for Bet Rivers Network, the College Sports Rush 10, about how I was very upset that UCLA fired their coach after 4 games, because UCLA was in auto fade in multiple categories. When you fire a coach, you bring in a new coach, there could be a coaching change kind of energy, and you don't know whether or not you can back them. And UCLA had been, my favorite team to fade. And Florida is in that realm. So I'm begging Florida to keep Billy Napier. Because, as of 2 weeks ago, I am fading Florida in every fashion. And the public did the same. 7.5 was the most wagered on play of the weekend. 7.5 to Miami was the most popular play. I think it was like the 4th or 5th strongest play on the spread, 79% of the tickets, and there were only 3 games above 80%. So it was Miami covering over Florida. And then, on the losses, Oregon State to cover, that was just a big number. And we did take some money on Auburn, plus 6.5 against Oklahoma, but Oklahoma, in what I think is generally like a down year in college football, they look pretty good. And, that win over Michigan really, I think, turned a couple eyes, because Michigan's explosive. They're just young, and, they're going through coaching changes and things like that. So, the Auburn, I think they played well in 1 week, and so people were backing them to cover at Oklahoma, which is a tough place to go at 2.4% of total money, but Oklahoma was backed by 4% with only Miami minus 7.5 more wagered on.
Oh, I think Auburn was the right side on Saturday. I mean, a rule that they had extensive meetings with the coaches and the officials, got by both of them. I don't know if Venables is going to be reprimanded by any point, Charlie, but it was a clear, the hideaway play, and they said they that's one thing. The league issued an apology and a scathing of their officiating crew, said that the discipline would be handled in turn, but that was clearly a violation of what they talked about. This is not a non-conference game.
Yeah, I don't think there's any question he's going to be reprimanded. I just don't think it'll be public. They'll probably do the same thing with him that they're doing with the officials.
And then the scoop and score for Auburn. Man, that was close. To overturn it, what was called on the field, and then the ultimate, the safety, to put it over the number.
With a minute to go.
Yeah, there's just in. Jackson Arnold held the ball. So, I mean, he held it a lot in that game. So,
Georgia and Texas and Auburn and Florida. I mean, you're going to play somebody. Don't worry about the schedule being entertaining. That's going to take care of itself. It's just going to look a little bit different for everybody. Take a break here, top of the hour. Back on the other
side. Soften your stance with this new schedule we got, huh?
I'm in a good mood, Jimmy. I'm in a good mood. Live at lunch, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Live at lunch with Ott and Hanny from Big Mike's Sports Bar and Grill in Denham Springs on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
And we invite you to come out here to Big Mike's for lunch, but also Monday nights is all-you-can-eat boiled shrimp. That's every Monday night here at Big Mike's starting at 5 o'clock. Line dancing on Wednesday nights starting at 6:30, and Wednesday nights also $1 wings. And for every LSU game, there's a DJ going, watch parties here in the big room at Big Mike's, and live music here every weekend. Open late after high school football games on Friday nights, family friendly, so you can bring the kids in for a late meal after high school football here in Denham Springs. And we said at the top of the show, but congratulations to Big Mike himself for being recognized last week for his tireless contributions here in the Denham Springs community by putting him in the Denham Springs Hall of Fame. The big weekend in college football. Some of the other games. We talked a little bit about Oklahoma and Auburn, but a little bit more on that, Jimmy, because that game, I think you're right for sure that Auburn was the right side in that game, and Oklahoma, between the hideaway, the scoop and score, and the late safety, was fortunate to cover in the game. But more so about what do you think about Auburn and Jackson Arnold? He was sacked. I've seen 9 and I've seen 10 on the stats.
10, I think, most.
There was a little bit of a dispute, but plenty, okay? That it was a school record for Oklahoma in sacks.
So Jeff G. and Tex Morris are Auburn guys who are going to watch it very much closer than any of us. And I asked them what their opinion on Arnold was, and everybody agrees he's holding the ball too long. So why? Even Nick Saban on game day says he talked about Arch Manning and Jackson and Arnold, and said that they're not committed to the pocket. They're too much running, and giving up on routes early. Tex Hugh Freeze says he's trying to get him to go through his progressions, and maybe that's contributing to him holding the ball a little bit more. Maybe he's not ready to just make his full progressions, but he's kind of a one-looking tuck type of guy. And we got 13 starts now career. He's kind of in it. It's been a choppy starts too. A bowl game, a half a season here, 3 or 4 games this season. So different. So we got to allow him to develop also, and maybe he'll get it right. But they have way too many explosive guys at wide receiver not to try and get them to get it out quicker. And part of that is Hugh Freeze too. Man, call some stuff that he has to get.
Help your quarterback.
Yeah, to call him, and they also think that the offensive line is not terrific. They were mediocre last year at best. They returned a lot of them. They hoped they would improve, but that's been a little bit of an issue as well. But their overall roster, and these guys said they thought that this was Freeze's best roster at Auburn, and it is. And it is. And with all that being said, with Jackson Arnold, he's a big upgrade, and he gives him a chance, even though he's dangerous because he can throw the ball 40, 50 yards downfield, and those guys are legitimate threats, at wideout. And he can run. It's just trying to get in that happy medium, Charlie. And I thought the Baylor game, the coach, the design running plays let me know that not only is he more confident in his legs and his arm at this stage of his career, quarterback, but the staff is too. I mean, over and over and over. So
what I like about Auburn is the run defense. That is as solid a run defense as I've seen in the first month. They made Oklahoma work for their – now, you can throw the ball on them a little bit, but they really made Oklahoma work for their rush yards, and that includes Mateer, who's a real threat to run and did not get loose in this game. They held Auburn to Oklahoma to 32 yards on the ground. And in the points scored in the Baylor game, they were scored mostly with the passing attack. They held Baylor to under 3 yards a carry, too. So that run defense, I think, is for real. Now, can they, work out their problems with Arnold on the offense? I don't know, but that run defense seems like it's going to be what carries the day. They're their most prolific unit from what I've seen so far.
I mean, the yards were right even. The first downs, Auburn had a couple. It's just the problem was, Charlie, and this is where, okay, so Arnold, and this is where I thought Jalen Hurts was kind of proved me wrong yesterday, and that is, wait a minute, when they're behind, he's got to throw a lot. He's not as effective. And then the way the Rams, and he let him back. He got it going. He made some good throws. Arnold on third down, 3 of 15. So, when these obvious passing situations, when he's got it, it's just he's not there yet, and he can be. He can be. I can see watching him in high school and say, "Oh, this kid's a 5-star. Good size, good arm, athleticism." No, I mean he's got all the tools. He's just got to kind of help him out. Coach him, Freeze. Coach him. One thing about Freeze and Kiffin, they're always him. And whether it was Machine Gun Kelly, what was it? Ice Kelly? Swag Kelly. Yeah. Swag Kelly. Or Bo Wallace. At the end of it, they would always have 10 design runs for those quarterbacks. So he'd mix it in there. He's got that, but it's a little lopsided right now. And it just help him out a little bit. Coach him.
Another quarterback who was iffy to play in this week, and we've been watching it very close, Lenore Sellers. South Carolina lost to Missouri 29-20, but Sellers did play in the game and threw the ball really well, threw for over 300 yards in the game. And, Jimmy, he made what I thought was the best throw I saw all weekend, maybe that I've seen in the young season so far. They're playing 3rd and 37 at midfield late in the third quarter. And he rolled 3rd and 37. What do you call? He rolls to his left, twists his body, and throws about a 35-yard frozen rope to a guy that's going towards the sideline. Hits him right in stride, and his momentum carries him out of bounds for a 33-yard gain. They end up kicking the field goal out of that because it was still 4th down. But that's why we saw the poll yesterday. They polled, I think it was 20 general managers on who would be the best quarterback coming out in this year's draft. Sellers and Nussmeier
this
were the
was
top
Saturday
two.
morning,
yes.
before the game Saturday.
Sellers got 7 votes and Nussmeier got 6, so it's very close. But throws like that are why you see why people are enamored with the size, the arm strength, and that throw was really something. He's not a finished product, but that was an impressive performance, I thought.
And Anthony Richards can have that one type of throw too. Okay, they're capable, all right. But I'm more concerned with the that's not going to happen all the time. What is he going to do over the regular course of the game? The majority of the snaps, and he has picked up his passing considerably in a short time before he was knocked out with the concussion against Vanderbilt, where he's 6 of 7 for 94 yards. I mean, he did throw a pick in that game. But this, Charlie, 13.4 yards an attempt. This game, he was 11 yards an attempt. 2 TDs, no interceptions. I mean, just he's and in my eyeballs too. And he's starting to hit guys in stride. He's starting to get a little comfortable. This is a guy on a 2-point conversion at Tuscaloosa last year, threw the ball in the stands. Okay, I mean, what? I mean, it's Russell Wilson last night hitting the goalpost on 4th down. I mean,
Sellers didn't get called for intentional grounding.
well, there was another one he got thrown for, in the tunnel downs before. But you're starting to see some progress. He reminded me of Richardson a little bit. I will say I saw one of those games. I don't know where it came from with Richardson against Tennessee, but he looked like, I mean, that's his whole highlight film. He threw the ball better in that game than he ever has, and we're seeing why he's sitting right now, even after investing in a top 5 pick and sitting him for a journeyman at quarterback. But Sellers is starting to show some signs that he will be a little bit more of an accomplished passer. He's going to have more starts. That's the one thing. This is year 2, right?
Yep.
Full-time starter?
Yeah.
Richardson never gave himself that chance. But Sellers, the last 2 games, has really taken the next step as far as a passer. And I think he and Green, I know it was an offensive
next.
game, and maybe the yards were a little bit. Maybe Missouri's a little tougher defense in Memphis, but these 2 guys they're in losses. Both of their teams lost, but they're playing good football right now.
And Taylor Green was where I was going next. Be an entertaining game with Notre Dame and Arkansas this week. Should be plenty of points in that one. They lost the game, but I've long said Taylor Green is one of the scarier guys when he gets going. And unlike some of the other quarterbacks we've been talking about, there's plenty starts here. There were 35 starts coming into this season, a lot of those at Boise State, and second year with Bobby Petrino. Now, watch this story for the rest of the year, because if they move Sam Pittman before the end of the year, and they're already starting to rumble about that they could.
Oh, really? They're trying to boycott the first game ever against Notre Dame.
Yeah. If that happens, then Petrino would obviously be the head coach. Stay tuned there. But Taylor Green, man, that ability and all that, they're a scary team, because any one game he can get going. And he's good enough to beat a lot of people, I think.
He's good enough to keep them in games.
That defense is a problem. Defense is a problem.
To beat, I would kind of. He was good enough. I mean, he was great. I mean, in the game on Saturday,
he threw 2 interceptions. I mean, I can't ignore that, but he did plenty more on the positive side.
He had all those starts at Boise State, but so did Jaden Daniels. Had a bunch of starts at Arizona State before he came here. But the second year was a huge jump as a passer for Jaden Daniels. And to be honest, what I'm seeing with Jackson Arnold right now reminds me of Jaden Daniels. If you didn't watch Jaden Daniels his first year at LSU and did not scream at the TV to let the ball go, you just weren't watching. And so but Taylor Green, there's a big jump from last year and this year under Bobby Petrino. And so maybe it's 2 years in the same place. Maybe it's 2 years with Bobby Petrino. Whatever it is, he made some beautiful throws, Charlie. I mean, both these guys. I mean, it was wow that they just weren't like that. Taylor Green did have a very good bowl game. That was a lot of guys. They were all sitting for that game, if you remember, and they were big, like double-digit underdog, and he was really good in that game. So maybe something to build on there, but. And look, Memphis was not very good on defense, and Arkansas lost that game. I mean, come on. I mean, but not only that, but one thing you got to do right there, no matter what you do, ball security. You think that's all they can do is try and knock it out. That's all they can do. And I understand trying to score 7, so I can't be with the college kickers. You know how that goes. You never know what's going to happen. But man, it doesn't matter if it's Bielema, if it's Pittman, if it's who's the? They always find ways to lose, huh? They have had their bad luck in some of these games.
Notre Dame and Arkansas this week. Total is 64.5. Sounds light to me. I think there's going to be plenty of points scored in that.
Because Notre Dame, Purdue, it was.
They gave up 30 points to Purdue.
Right.
Yeah.
No, Purdue moved the ball consistently all game. No, it was a shootout. It was a shootout. That Notre Dame offense is pretty good. I like the quarterback.
He's got a little something to him. C.J. Carr. Yeah.
He's got some ability too.
Yeah.
And the other Notre Dame kid, Angeli, he's out for the year with Achilles. Probably Ricky Collins, but he lit it up on Saturday.
He was rolling. He was leading ACC in passing, but he's done for the year. We're brought to you by Total Maintenance, AC and Heating, Generators, Electricity, and Plumbing, your one-stop sales shop for all of these needs. Since 1980, the slogan's been service today, every day. So when you call, you get service that day, so you never have to go to sleep hot. Full service staff in both New Orleans and Baton Rouge, an authorized dealer for Carrier, American Standard, Daikin, and Rheem AC units, Generac and Cummings generators, your electrical and plumbing needs as well. In Baton Rouge, it's 480-1000. In New Orleans, 841-3300. Service today, every day at Total Maintenance. Live at Big Mike's, live at lunch, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Live at lunch with Ott and Hanny from Big Mike's Sports Bar and Grill in Denham Springs on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Come on by and join us here for lunch at Big Mike's, but also tonight for all-you-can-eat boiled shrimp every Monday night here at Big Mike's, starting at 5 o'clock all the way until close.
All-you-can-eat boiled shrimp.
Yeah, every Monday night.
That's not bad.
If you're not eating red beans on Mondays, come eat some boiled shrimp
there you
here
go.
at Big Mike's. Jerry, we've seen a lot of Saints games in our lives, a lot of bad Saints games, a lot of bad losses, a lot of ugly performances. Yesterday is right up there with the ugliest that I have ever seen New Orleans look. Give up a franchise record 38 points in the first half, which
franchise record
for most points given up in the first half. Seattle obviously scaled everything back in the second half. They won this game 44-13. They could have won this game 74-13 probably if they had wanted to. Usually you can come up with at least one little bright spot in a game. I can't come up with any for this game. The Saints were bad in all three phases. They were particularly bad in special teams. You allow a blocked punt. You allow a 95-yard punt return for a touchdown. You haven't had both of those things happen in the same game since 1976. It actually happened twice yesterday because it happened in the Washington game. Also, Seattle's offense didn't really have to do a lot of the heavy lifting in this thing. It's 21-0 before you looked up. I don't know. This was going to be a bad year. It's going to be an awful year. I'm just looking for some bright spots here and there. I can't seem to find any. I'd like to be able to point out one or two guys that played well, and maybe there were a couple. I know Chris Olave had some catches, but who cares? It's tough because I don't see the light on the other end of the tunnel. Now, what I did want to ask you about was
no moral victory yesterday.
Right. So what does this say about Kellen Moore early? And I don't think that this guy. Hang on. Let me ask a question before you. But, I don't know how you can judge him at this point.
No.
You're asking him to play poker with no cards.
100%.
So yeah. I don't. What can I say about him if? Coaching matters if you've got a fair fight talent-wise, but there's only so many things you can do. That being said, there are this is cosmetic stuff, okay? But when you're down 35, you don't need to kick a field goal, okay? Well, you're going to cut it to 32. Those kind of things aggravate me, but it's way down the list. And the scare.
I mean, you really thought if they had 7, they're going for 7, they had more of a chance to come back?
No, that's what I said. What does it matter?
It's just optics.
It's cosmetic. It's cosmetic.
It really doesn't matter.
It does. It's attitude, but it's cosmetic. They were going to get routed no matter what, and they're probably going to get routed again next week when they go to Buffalo. And I'm trying to say, okay, this season won't be a waste if they go through it and they learn some things and they develop some younger players and they make some progress towards getting their systems in and they just start to look a little bit better. So is this rock bottom, or is next week going to be rock bottom? They get beat by 40, again. I don't know. But in the back of my head, I keep saying, okay, what do you have to do for this team? You have to get better players. And if the same guy is picking the players, has been picking the players for the last 6 years, then it doesn't matter what pick they get. You know, none of these young guys are really developing the way that you would like to see. Brian Brzee is a good example. Okay, I liked the pick when they made him out of Clemson. Okay, and I thought he could be a good player, maybe even a really good player, maybe even a Pro Bowl type player later in his career. In year 3, he's kind of meh. He's not a terrible player, but, I thought he was making some progress. And then yesterday, and this is early enough in the game that it actually made a difference, they got a 3rd down and 8. They're going to get off the field, and he headbutts a guy. Well, this is stupid, okay? That's stupid football. And what happened? Seattle got a 1st down out of it. Darnold hit Smith and Jigba for the touchdown, and you should have been off the field with a field goal attempt, and you end up giving up the touchdown. That's just one of a bunch that I could point out from yesterday. So
you want me to contribute now?
Sure.
Okay. Because everything you're saying, that I know you don't like me to talk about the Saints, but it's only what I told you in the summer. When I'm like, oh, really? Got to talk about the Saints again? Really? I mean, they don't have a chance. And Kellen Moore is not having a fair chance in this thing. You can't evaluate Kellen Moore for what they've done with this thing. This is all Loomis. And, I mean, at what point does Miss Gale, interrupt her compromised organization and say, no, there's no general manager that can live with this track record and survive? Did I expect yesterday to be, pick the Saints plus 7.5? I don't think they were that bad. It's not going to be as bad as that all the time, and it might not be as good, but this is 3-14. This is close. I mean, who are they as bad as the Titans?
It's what and what. They're
Who else is in the conversation?
There's 0-3 teams right now.
Well, they're not Houston.
No, Houston's
banged up right now.
Yeah, they're a competitive team.
Giants.
The Giants are right there. Yeah,
I disagree. I mean, that defensive front for the Giants. I mean, the Saints don't have any unit like that.
No, I meant the Giants are right there with the Texans, but they're closer towards respectability than the Saints are. Yeah. They have their quarterback on roster now. Whether he's going to be good or not, I don't know. The Dolphins are probably in a bad shape.
The Dolphins were driving to tie the game late against the Bills. Watch what the Saints do at Buffalo Sunday.
The Saints are
incapable of having that type of game.
Yeah, they're worse than the Dolphins.
The Dolphins had that game at Colts was as bad as the Saints yesterday at Seattle.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll give you that. So they're capable of that, but the Saints don't have Tua and those Charlie. Those guys, no, they don't have.
They're the worst team. They're the worst situation in the league.
Oh, we knew that before they teed it up for the first time.
Well, not only if the Saints and the Titans played today at a neutral site, I'd probably flip a coin. Okay, but the Titans at least have their guy. They have their quarterback.
Yeah, they're taking their lumps with the rookie quarterback.
Is he going to be good or not? I don't know. I know that right now Calvin Ridley can't catch a pop fly with a circus net, so not helping him.
I was like, who is Zero? He keeps dropping them left and right.
Yeah, that's Calvin Ridley, the veteran receiver that is supposed to be his number one.
To be fair, though, Harrison Jr. dropped 2 that were unbelievable.
Yeah, and that's scary if you're Arizona because they got a lot invested in that guy, and they thought he would be really good, and he hasn't been. Ridley used to be good, and it's like, what is up with you, man? I mean, he can't catch anything right now. But at least they've got it in place, okay? They probably got the wrong coach.
They do have the wrong coach.
But they can fix. That's an easy fix, okay? You fire that guy.
So that's actually a good path for them.
Yeah.
Because, okay, coach, this is your guy for future quarterback. He's going to take his lumps and, go through this, and we'll fire you at the end of the season. But and then you bring in another guy.
And they're opening up a new stadium in a couple of years, so you get some momentum in it. But you get to feeling good about the organization.
The stadium means nothing to me. I mean, I don't care if this, they're not hosting Super Bowls. I mean, what is that?
Yeah, they are.
I mean, well,
they will, but it just
Charlie,
it feels good about
insignificant.
It feels good about the organization, and I don't feel good about anything with this organization.
Okay,
right now.
If the stadium makes you feel good, that's fine. I don't care where they play.
Okay, I think it helps, but
I don't care.
Okay,
it means nothing to as far as winning football games or not. The thing is that nobody has as bad of a front office situation in such an impactful, influential position in your organization. Nobody. Yep. And so, I mean, it's like Jerry Jones. They show him in the box. And he's like, he thinks he's all in. And they show him, and he's just like, he just expects different results when he's hampering his team. No, Jerry, you're the reason. Who in the hell thought this pile of crap was going to be turned into chicken salad? Who? Kellen Moore, new coach. Okay. No, they don't have a chance. And Kellen Moore, what is it? The veteran writer in New Orleans, Kellen Moore's honeymoon is over? No, what are you talking about? This guy is not given a fair shake at all. We can't tell one thing about Kellen Moore with this team right now. And in Brazil, it's just it's not going to get better. Let me know when Loomis is removed, okay? And we'll say, well, that's not going to happen until we're 6 feet under. All right, well, I mean, they suck. The organization sucks. Miss Gale is a beautiful person, but she's a horrible owner, allowing this to fester. I mean, she's always been pretty good at reading the room. I mean, figure it out. Why is your roster so bad? He's got to go. Bring it in some ex-GM as an assistant scout or whatever. McKay, who was the guy that bring it in from the Falcons? Come on, man.
Well,
Loomis
if he takes over as GM next
go.
year, if he takes over as GM next year, then I'm fine.
Well, anybody takes over. It gives you a chance.
Yes.
You have no chance with Mickey Loomis.
He
is given a more than enough opportunity. He's a problem.
If they finish 2-15, which is where I think that they will finish, and they get the first pick in the draft. If Loomis is making that pick, I got no confidence that they're going to do the right thing. I got no confidence that they can pick guys on the other side. And, yeah, I'm sorry, we have to call Gail Benson out at this point. What did she do on the basketball side? She brought in somebody that she knew, somebody that she was comfortable with, and he promptly traded away next year's first-round draft pick and really a double pick when you get to it. And it's like, hang on. Not only are you crushing our soul for what's going on right now, you're giving us no hope for the future. I can sit here and hope that the Saints lose every week so that they get the first pick in the draft. What happened the last time the Saints had the first pick in the draft? They took George Rogers, who was a good player. They passed on the guy who was probably the scariest defensive player to ever put on a pair of cleats with the second pick. And I fear that the same thing will happen again. Whoever the quarterback is that they take, it'll be the wrong one if he's doing the picking. He's
got to go. You don't have a chance until he's gone.
Yeah.
And all you need to know is with the status of the Saints, we know there was a lot of comment. They were in the running for the worst team in the league this year. Okay? This guy told his cold friends, I don't want this to be part of my legacy. I want to be the one that's turned him around. You have no shot. You can bring the best GM in right now. It can't be done for a couple of years. It can't be done. Nobody's going to win with this roster. Not Kellen Moore. Not an assistant, a former GM for the Falcons. No, nobody, especially you, can't get it done. So, I mean, it's just.
The longer he stays.
I don't want you to sit here on a Monday in football season, act like you're surprised.
I'm not surprised. Do you think I'm surprised?
I mean, you and Max breaking down, man, that's a good sign. This guy's coming in. This is a nice scout.
I would like to not ignore the Saints. I would like to at least pay attention to what the Saints are doing, okay? So I can comment on it. I'm not in any way optimistic.
But that is not a game where you sit back and we don't like to get too big picture, okay, whatever. But that game yesterday was not a game where Brazil, you pick a play here, you pick a play there, you pick a play here. That's big picture. That's a big picture game. You can't. That's a colossal loss. This is a franchise that had a lot of low spots, and that's a record for most points and the biggest deficit at halftime
in the first half. And you're the most penalized team in the league, so they're not well coached. But I don't know how much a chance he would have anyway. So it's depressing. And the longer Loomis stays, the more his legacy will be that the good that happened was because of Sean Payton, and the bad that happened was because of Mickey. And that may not be completely fair, but that's.
If he has somebody close to him and says, no, Mickey, no, to save your legacy, get out now.
Yes. Get
I know I said that before this disaster unfolded. So. Don't forget our friends over at Dana Brown at the law offices of O.C. Brown, your law firm for a lifetime, 343-1111 and ocbrown.com. Get in an accident like I did, it's a pain in the backside. Yes, indeed. So car got totaled. Man, what am I going to do? Help me get a rental. I got to go see a doctor. I got to go see a specialist because I got headaches and this and that. He scheduled everything for him. Man, the insurance companies wear me out. They wanted to ask all these questions. No, you got to give them, after you have the initial interview with them, we'll take over everything from there. So he's going to make everything as pain-free. It's not pain-free, but absorb the pain as much as possible. Call Dana Brown at 343-1111 and ocbrown.com.
Live at Big Mike's Live at Lunch, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Live at Lunch with Ott and Hanny from Big Mike's Sports Bar and Grill in Denham Springs on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Couple of minutes away from going to the Brian Kelly press conference. We'll see what he's got to say about LSU's win and the upcoming game with Ole Miss. Also, if he bites on the league hasn't announced these official annual opponents, but it's been released and confirmed by multiple reports. So we'll see if he comments on LSU drawing Arkansas, Ole Miss, and A&M as their annual opponents. Also interested if he says anything about the suspension of DJ Chester for the first half for the targeting call this past week. It leaves LSU somewhat thin at center with something that happened to Braylon Moore. Also, Chester played the first drive of the second half at right tackle where Weston Davis has struggled. So they'll be a little bit thinner to open this game. We'll see what he says about that. And sure he's not going to say anything about which quarterback he would rather face. Wouldn't do that, but we're expecting Trinidad Chambliss for Ole Miss this weekend against LSU, where this spread now, Jimmy, is up to 2.5, I believe.
Yeah, it flipped. Look ahead line was Ole Miss. LSU 1.5. But, LSU played a run-a-win, and Ole Miss destroyed a much more respected team.
They were favored by 12 and won by 35. So that moved it.
You cover by 30, that'll boost your power rating. Now, it didn't open up 2.5. It opened up 1.5, so a little support early on Ole Miss. I would love for it to get to 3 because I would take the other side. It could be it's a great game. It's a great matchup. It's Ole Miss's strength is their offense, and LSU's strength is their defense, and so both teams. LSU's going to get some stops. Ole Miss is going to score some points, and then LSU, vice versa. They're going to get some points, against Ole Miss. Everybody will. The Tulane was bad, really bad, and Retzlaff. It starts with him on Saturday in Oxford.
Here at Big Mike's, where you come on in for lunch, but also tonight for all-you-can-eat boiled shrimp. That's every Monday night. Line dancing on Wednesday nights. Dollar wings on Wednesday nights. DJ and watch parties here for every LSU game. Happy hour 3 to 7 Monday through Friday with $2.50 beer, draft, and bottled domestic beers, $4 wells, and $5 wines here at Big Mike's. And they're open late after high school football every Friday night here at Big Mike's, and it is family-friendly. We'll see you to the press conference, and we're back on the other side live at lunch from Big Mike's, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Bar and Grill in Denham Springs on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
And welcome you back here at Big Mike's on Aspen Square in Denham Springs. Got some time left here in lunch. A really nice crowd out here at Big Mike's. Don't forget on Mondays, it's all-you-can-eat boiled shrimp, starting at 5 o'clock all the way until close every Monday night. Wednesday nights, line dancing at 6:30. Dollar wings on Wednesday nights. Watch parties for all the LSU games here with a DJ. It's a high-energy group. Happy hour drink prices all day on Sunday to watch the NFL starting at 11 o'clock. That's $2.50 beer, domestic bottles and drafts, $4 wells, $4 wines, and those are good happy hour drink prices from 3 until 7 every Monday through Friday. And on Fridays, they're open late for high school football. Come in after the games, family-friendly. Get you something to eat before you head home. Here at Big Mike's on Aspen Square in Denham Springs. Brian Kelly, pretty upbeat for going into the game against Ole Miss. I guess the injury situation is probably what we need to talk about first. The news about Gabe Relaford, not great. He had certainly done a really nice job to this point. They don't know if he's going to need surgery or not, so we'll keep an eye on that. It is one of the positions that LSU is deepest at, so that's the one positive there. It's a position where they do have good depth, but they're going to hold him out this week and see if surgery is going to be necessary. The suspension of DJ Chester leaves him in a little bit of a precarious position at center should something happen to Braylon Moore. Braden Augustus, who is from right here in the Dunham School, filled in with the second group last week when the second unit came in the second half. you want to go back to go back to camp and who else took reps at that position. Cohen Eccles took some reps at that position back in August if they were to get in a bind. Not exactly the best situation because Moore had the injury just a couple of weeks ago. So keep an eye on that. He suggested it would be Braden Augustus, but keep in mind that they also have Cohen Eccles, who has taken some reps at that position. Chester also saw a little bit of time at tackle. They're talking about Carius Kern working in there. I'm anxious to see some more Kern. Saw him in the second half of the game last week. Haven't had a chance. We're going to do film study tonight, but the one play I did notice was he had a holding penalty. So we'll see what his development looks like. He's a player I'm awfully high on. I think he's going to have a really good career here. But, when you offensive lineman, there's a learning curve. Caden Durham, they don't think it's a high ankle sprain, so that's good news. I thought Jawan Johnson ran the ball really well the other night. So that's your injury situation. He talked briefly about the scheduling. I think you'll probably get a little bit more of that when the schedule officially comes out tomorrow. But if you are joining us late, it's Arkansas, Ole Miss, and Texas A&M for LSU's annual opponents. They get 6 more besides that, so it's going to be plenty of competitive scheduling. So it's kind of a little synopsis of what we heard from Brian Kelly and, of course, Ole Miss.
I thought the most interesting thing that Kelly had to say was, expecting to play 2 quarterbacks. I know he's got to prepare for 2 quarterbacks, but I hope they play 2 quarterbacks.
I hope they just play one, but it's the other one.
Yeah. Yeah, or play Simmons the whole time.
Right.
And I mean, it's just I do agree with him that they can run the same stuff with them.
Yeah.
But they have different. He's not going to go in all that, but they have different abilities on that stuff. But both, you can run an offense that you run with a dual threat. They're going to run the ball some, and they're going to throw the ball, a little bit more. But both of them, and that's what he's done with all of his quarterbacks. Jackson Dart ran the ball a lot. He's going to get his 10 carries a game. And Matt Corral, he ran the ball, 10 times a game. And so they do that, but it's the Chambliss is just the way better in the passing game. Way better in the passing game. I think they're really close, and that threat to run a little bit different. Simmons got a little bit more power, maybe to finish his runs, but Chambliss is quick. And I would say right now, man, Simmons came in an Arkansas game and re-aggravated that ankle. So I don't know if he's 100% even to come in and play. So because, he had to come out at that point. So that's the part. It was like just that these are the same type of quarterbacks and things like that. No, they have different levels of ability in certain aspects, but they do run the same offense. That is correct.
So the most intriguing part of this game to me is will LSU be able to run the football on what statistically has been, by a big margin, the worst rushing defense in the SEC through 4 games. Ole Miss has given up 190 yards a game on the ground. That's 30-plus yards north of 15th in the league.
Is their schedule comparable to everybody else's through 4 games? Because these stats can be really misleading with such a short sample size based on the Renner wins and things like that.
Well, you've played.
Mississippi State going to defend and run better against Alcorn State.
Right. No, I get it. You played 2 SEC games and Tulane and Georgia State. So
that's tougher than most have played.
Yeah, that's
so that's going to be so maybe temper that a little bit.
So if they're giving away that many yards, is LSU going to be able to run the football on them? Take, for instance, Florida, who's got a very good defense, which we saw again the other night against Miami, kept them in the game when their offense wasn't doing anything. LSU ran for 96 yards against Florida, but and 3.9 a carry against Florida, but 56 of that was the last 55, 56 of that was on one play at the end of the game. So if LSU can run the football here, if they can't run the football on Ole Miss, it's going to be tough sledding the rest of the way, I think. So that'll be something I'm keeping an eye on.
You didn't you catch your attention to that? Nussmeier wants to throw the ball downfield. That's what we could do.
Yeah,
that didn't stick out to you today. I mean, they definitely threw the ball downfield more.
They did.
Okay, so I mean, I want to use this as a tune-up.
No, I never doubted their want. There's a Les Miles word. I never doubted their want as a coaching staff and as a quarterback to throw the ball down the field. My concern was, did Nussmeier have the health to do it? And I saw the other night that he does. So yeah. I am expecting them to push the ball down the field, starting with that.
I think they'll be balanced, Charlie. I mean, it's just moving the ball, period, scoring. I mean, Ole Miss is they had their year last year where they could compete with anybody up front. And that's gone. And so they are back to where, they're gonna score and they're gonna give up chunk plays. Part was their defense, give them credit, but part was Tulane led an egg. And not so much, Tulane's not great on defense. They're gonna give up yards. They gave up yards and points to Duke, give up yards and points to South Alabama. But their offense, and Rhett's laugh, by anybody's account, had his worst day that he's ever had, and probably since Pee Wee. I mean, 0 in the first half, and then he finished with like 47 against Ole Miss. That's that's garbage time too.
Yeah, you were out of the game.
Yeah, I mean, so it's strength against strength and weakness or concern. It's gonna be fun. It's that Chambliss is we put some pressure on you. Because and I think, was it Cobble that asked that, what makes Kiffin a play designer? And he went into, one thing is he runs a lot of these routes. His sequencing is really good, so he's running certain things to, boom, he'll run the ball, he'll run them. When the game is done, they will be balanced because he understands that to get those safeties to bite up on play action, to create Kiffin, the consistency, he's always able to get guys streaking downfields vertically that seem to have like 2-3 steps on people. Well, are they going up like they're going to block because he's showing, run and they release, but also the sequence and how he sets up the plays. But the other thing is running all these combination routes to try and create confusion. And that's where I want to see this defense is really, really good. And I love Kelly, how he talks about, we're all better coaches. We've got better players.
Yeah.
And we talked about that forever. This is his best roster, and he just confirms that again. But they hadn't been tested against this, obviously, the Florida passing game. You know what I mean? I mean, Clemson. I mean, this is done over time, and now he's got a guy that's going to make you pay. He's not going to overthrow a guy that's streaking in the open because he's putting the ball on the line too far. He's going to make sure he puts air under the ball on the vertical throws and also the crossers, hit guys. If you make a mistake and this defense plays so fast, they don't think, they're just coming and coming and coming. You got to be disciplined too with them. And so how many they look like blown coverages, but it happens regularly when teams try to defend Kiffin.
Probably the biggest upgrade anywhere on this team from last year to this year is its safety. And not only did they bring in 2 transfers, but Deshaun Spears, a Denham Springs native, has played very well back there also. And this is the group that is going to have that pressure on them. Don't have those plays. We've all seen them. We get the wide angle where the quarterback goes back and hits his back foot, and Kiffin puts his hands in the air because he knows he's got him. Mm-hmm. He's got him reeled in, and before the quarterback even throws it, he knows he's got a long touchdown. The pressure will be on Cooley and Halsey and Spears back there to make sure that doesn't happen.
The scouting report from the August camp has translated to the regular season, and those safeties are good. And we have seen them. And just in the Florida game on the, and also the Clemson game, but they almost bait the quarterback. They're in real good position. They understand that they're going to get pressure, so they can kind of jump on those early ones early. I mean, kind of the initial move. But all of those interceptions against Florida, they all broke on the ball, showed hands, and were just they were just instinctful type of plays. This is a different animal. So it's that it is. That's a really good unit. They haven't been tested at this level yet. Ole Miss is a really good offensive unit, play design, a really good quarterback in Chambliss right now that hasn't seen a defense like this. So it's going to be fun.
No, they definitely haven't seen a defense this good.
No.
I don't. Arkansas, we know, is challenged defensively. Kentucky, maybe a little bit better, but not to this level for sure. We're here at Big Mike's in Denham Springs. We're also brought to you by the Thibodeau Store and the Pierre Part Store. Well, LSU's on the road this weekend, and then they've got a bye week. But in the month of October, multiple home games in the SEC. You go out for tailgate. The weather will be good enough for you then, Jimmy. It'll be cooled off.
There you go.
Pick up your supplies at the Thibodeau Store and at the Pierre Part Store. 900 St. Patrick Highway in Thibodeau, Highway 70 in Pierre Part. TheThibodeauStore.com is the online where you can arrange for delivery for some items and also same-day pickup for some.
You know, I was rolling through on the way to the Queen on Saturday morning and seeing everybody, and I was just kind of checking out everybody's gear, you know, what they had. And they got their own rigs that they make and stuff like that for their burners and their pots and stuff like that. And if you have your own stuff and something breaks on it, we got all of the material to, you know, fix it and repair it and stuff like that. But also the cool weather is just around the corner, and you're dying to get outside, do the outdoor cooking, whether it's on campus, whether it's you're traveling to Oxford, whether you're just in your backyard or you're in your outdoor kitchen. So they have everything imaginable and then some at the Thibodeau Store and the Pierre Part Store for all of your on-site cooking.
Online, it's TheThibodeauStore.com. We'll take our final break, come back here at Big Mike's on Aspen Square in Denham Springs, live at lunch, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Live at lunch with Ott and Hanny from Big Mike's Sports Bar and Grill in Denham Springs on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
All right, here in the heart of football season, it would take quite a basketball story to get us into that realm, but this is pretty big. Bruce Pearl going to announce his retirement, according to multiple reports, effective immediately. He is contemplating a run for Senate in the state of Alabama in 2026. You need the full year to campaign for that. That is Tommy Tuberville's seat. And Tuberville is contemplating a run for governor in Alabama. If Bruce Pearl can be senator and Tommy Tuberville can be governor, then Saban could have been president, right? I mean, if we're going to do the whole thing here. Pearl, who's had a great run at multiple schools, including Auburn, 65 years old, finishes up with over 700 wins, won 73% of his games, 58% of his conference games, made a couple of Final Fours at Auburn, and of course came just an eyelash away from winning the whole thing. Been at Auburn since 2015. He is expected to be succeeded by his son Stephen, 38 years old, on staff there at Auburn. So, Jimmy, I ask you here, and just your opinion. We don't know what's in Bruce Pearl's head. Sick of the current landscape of college sports, or really anxious to get into politics? He was fairly vocal about, this is not what I wanted.
How old is he?
65.
I mean, I think that he's also benefited some from the new game. You know, where Janai Broom, and some others, Pettiford, and just he's had a nice balance between recruits and also transfer portals and getting guys. So, I mean, that might have been his best team this past year. And Charlie, I mean, that was
record-wise, it was
okay, and that's this era of roster building. So he gets it. He's good at it.
He did it. Did he like it though? Like what I heard from him was, you know what? I'm doing it. I'm playing the game. I know what I got to do my job, but I'm not wild about this. I'm not wild. Some of the younger coaches kind of embrace it. I mean, no, not everybody, but some of them do.
I know he fits the profile, but he also was good at it, and good enough at it where he was having his best years, his best teams, in this new way of doing it. So, I don't. Mike Gundy is completely fed up. He's given up. My goodness, given up.
And he will be done at the end of the season.
Yeah.
If not,
if that.
Yeah.
You know,
I think they will give him the rest of the season as because of his time there, as a matter of respect.
And he's done a great job.
They'll let him
for
finish.
Such a long period, but he's given up.
Yeah.
You know, I didn't see give up in Pearl.
No,
okay,
not at all.
So he might not like it. It might. I'm sure that's part of it, Charlie. But he was good at it, and they were willing to give him. There's not a coach out there in any sport in college that doesn't have as absolute as much as they never have too much money. Too much budget.
No,
okay?
but that's why I asked you about the political thing, and we don't talk politics on the show. But I'm asking for a reason. You know, Auburn people, is it like he's having success with this?
They're bummed. That's all I know.
I know that
he's given them. He has given Auburn everything he has.
Yeah.
He ain't sitting around. He is working. He is hustling.
So he can stay there and do that. So does he have this burning desire to, you know what, I want to run for office?
And how much? He's 65, and he's. Everything counts, but you know this is no complete shock. He's been hitting at this, so he wants to take on another challenge in a new venue and get a change of pace at this stage before it's too late.
Yeah,
you know, so he wants to get in his. But it's a damn shame. Now, he lied about the damn picnic, whatever. What would his career have been if it didn't get detoured with the Tennessee shenanigans? I mean, man.
He won 68% of his games in the league at Tennessee.
I love his coaching style. I love his – this game, well, let's go get it done. He's a promoter. And his teams played hard. And what I like about them, they can go into a visiting venue and play their game. And a lot of times, you know, some coaches, their teams, you know, it's college basketball, they really struggle. They seem to handle it a little bit better, and I think that's a reflection of his coach.
His 6 years at Tennessee, 3 years where they made it to the second weekend of the tournament, 2 Sweet 16s and an Elite 8, and then of course what he's done at Auburn, which includes 2 Final Fours. And look, that COVID year team, they could have won it. They weren't going to be favored to win it, but they had a really good team that year. They finished second in the league. They were. You would ask me that. I want to say.
What was the record in the league?
They were 12-6 in the league, but they were 25-6 overall. They had swept everybody else in the non-conference, and they were pretty salty. They would have had a chance that year. They finished second to Kentucky. That year, so they were good. They would have had a chance to make a run.
They peaked a little early last year.
Yeah, and they still made the final. And they still made the
Final Four. All number ones did.
He was very visible at Tennessee. When he got to Tennessee, men's basketball had gone through a downturn, and he embraced everything about the culture at Tennessee. The visual of him and Pat Summitt, there stays in my head like, hey, you know what? I know who the big dog is on this campus. Pat Summitt's the legend. You know what? I'm going to go and work with her, and she's going to come out to the Pat Summitt's out at the Tennessee basketball games wearing a cheerleader uniform because to support him. So he is into it. If any coaches that coach basketball in the area are listening, he's into it. He's working it. At Auburn, you saw him at everything. Okay, he was very visible. He was working it. Auburn is not a traditional basketball power.
No. Auburn was LSU now. When he took over, for years, and it took him. It wasn't what you have. It wasn't done overnight.
Yeah,
no. I mean, he's and who's more with his energy and his charisma? Who's more cut out to kind of go out and do this? So it's kind of a it hurts for college basketball because his kid's not going to be him. I'm sorry.
Oh, it would be unfair to ask him. Yeah, it would be unfair to ask him to.
And I wonder if they're going to still maintain that level of support that they have. You know, I mean, all depends on winning. You know, I mean, but
and you're not guaranteed this grace period where I got all my guys coming back from last year. The basketball rosters, all of the rosters, but especially the basketball rosters, they turn over year to year. So he doesn't have the benefit, I don't think, I don't know who's there, how many they got coming back from last year, but
One.
Okay, so you're on your own, kid. You know, you gotta go do this yourself. Thanks to the folks here at Big Mike's for being our host today. Again, congratulations to Big Mike for his contributions here in the Denham Springs area. Going into the Hall of Fame for his contributions to Denham Springs High School and high school athletics in general here in the area. Always been a very, very generous man with his time and his money here in the community. All you can eat ball shrimp every Monday night, live dancing on Wednesdays, dollar wings on Wednesdays, watch parties for LSU, and happy hour 3 to 7 Monday through Friday and all day on Sunday. Thanks to everybody for participating. Stay tuned for Hunt Palmer on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.